Pink, Green, and Blue, a Powerpuff Girls Band Alternate Universe Fanfiction Story. Part 1. Let's hear it for the 3 Sirens of Song! The audience in the TV show set cheered wildly. A panel rose from the ground there, and there were the 3 singing talents that broke the internet. Filing down the small stage, the 3 girls smiled and waved at the adoring fans. The producer of the show gave them a welcoming smile that was so well practiced, it looked identical to all the ones before. Hello, sirens. The 3 girls gave a chorus of answers. Thank you for having us, Leo, the first girl said. She sat up straight, her back not even touching the chair. Her legs were crossed and stiffened, and hands in her lap laced together. Her long, waist-length red hair was pulled up into a high ponytail. All stray hairs were slicked back, and it accentuated her high cheekbones. It flowed down in shockingly bright red waves and golden strands that caught the light from the studio, making it seem like her hair was living fire. Her bright pink eyes were strange, yet alluring, and called the attention of anyone who dared to look. They were lighting up like a pink flame with passion and joy, outlined by long, thick lashes and winged cat liner. Her mauve pink lip gloss popped, and her smile was bright and pearly. Of course. Now tell us. We're all dying to know. What are your names? 7 years and 5 tours later, you've all managed to keep it a secret. Leo leaned in close, hoping the secret would come out on his show. Oh goodness, how many views would that bring? Well, the world truly does want to know. The second girl smirked, popping a green bubble of chewing gum. She had black hair that barely touched her collarbone. It was sleek and straight, with such darkness that even the night sky was envious. Her lips were painted a striking red shade, popping against the paleness of her porcelain skin. Her jade green eyes were more narrowed, and appeared sharper with kohl liner, but were hardened like the stone they took after. Her face was more rounded and more relaxed, as was her posture. She laid back lazily, and hand resting against the chair in an informal manner. Her nails were painted a chipped green and black, and her eyebrows were rounded and feathery. And it just so happens that we are prepared for such a thing, the last girl said, bouncing in her seat ever so slightly. Leo raised a brow, an excited grin on his face. Really? He asked. Even the audience, in studio and at home watching alike, leaned forward, holding their breaths and betting on the mystery that was about to be solved. The last girl had hair as bright and golden as rays of the sun, braided up into pigtails that reached just an inch away from her elbows. They were fluffed and curled, bouncing with her every move and bringing her childlike wonder smile and love full circle. Her face was heart-shaped and anything but harsh. Her lips were a light pink shade and cheeks more blush than the others. Her piercing stare was as bright as the ocean when the sun reflected on it on a warm beach on a summer's day. Our names are... Everyone stopped moving and speaking and probably breathing as the redhead spoke. A sly smile etched on her face. Pink, green, blue. The audience gasped and cried out, more in joy than annoyance on what weren't real names. Leo's eyes widened in shock. Really? Are those truly your real names? He asked, leaning forward and thinking of all the new viewers who had just tuned in. The redhead raised a brow with a smirk on her face. Who's to say it's not? Leo nodded his head. Well answered. The blonde giggled. Our parents were creative people. Don't put it past them, she said, adding to the idea that Pink, Green, and Blue were their real names. Well, Pink, Green, Blue, Leo said, looking at each girl respectively. How about that new song? The trio smiled brightly. Do you know what sirens do best? The redhead called out, looking towards the audience and cameras as she'd uttered the famous line they had used to start every concert. Everyone cheered and shrieked in excitement. The three girls sang the word "sing" in a melodic harmony as lights began to flash and a beat started. They made their way to the stage and got to their instruments. Pink on the keyboard with the mic in front of the triangle, Green behind her on the right on an electric guitar, and Blue on her left with a rock/pop drum set. They all smiled widely, ready to perform. Dude, we've got to get on their level, Butch said to his brothers as they watched the three sirens of songs on the evening show. Boomer jumped onto the couch where his middle brother sat and stared at. Yeah, but local celebrity doesn't hurt much either, he shrugged. Their eldest brother paced around behind the couch. Yeah, Townsville is big enough, he commented, shuddering at the idea of random fans outside of their city running up and bothering them. Yeah, and we got all the hot chicks here, Butch chuckled. Brick rolled his eyes. Butch loved the attention of the female population more than the rest of their brothers. Even without stardom, he'd probably be the same. The middle JoJo brother had black hair that was spiked up with gel and dark forest green eyes. He had a muscular build from being on the basketball team and track team, and that was a well-known fact. His younger brother had sandy blonde hair that was short and styled up boy band style, which made sense since they were a boy band. His eyes were a dark shade of blue, like sapphires. He was strong and well built, but not as jacked as his brother. The last JoJo brother, the first, triplet things, had long red hair. It hit right below the bottom of his ears. Brick was just as toned and strong as his brothers, but not as bulky. What his best features was his eyes. They were red. No, not so bright brown that they looked red. Red. Fire engine red. So red, they looked like a laser that would burn you in an instant. If he wasn't so popular, he'd be looked at like a freak. But luckily, he was the most attractive out of the three thanks to the sharpest jawline that kept him in everyone's favor. I think they're lying about the names. Ain't nobody's mama and papa would name them Pink, Green, and Blue, Boomer commented as the song was over. Butch smacked him up the head. Yeah, dude. Yeah, duh, you idiot. Boomer rolled his eyes at Butch and rubbed the spot where he had been hit. Maybe we'll learn their actual names someday, Brick chuckled, and Butch rolled his eyes. Yeah, whatever. Let's get to the mall. I gotta savor the last days before school. His face grimaced at the word school, and Boomer laughed. The next 3 days? He asked, and Butch nodded. Cool. I'll race you to the mall, Butch challenged. Though his ego wouldn't admit it, he would lose. Butch may have been the MVP on the court, but on the track, that was a mantle that was picked up by his baby bro, Boomer. Brick laughed as his brothers raced. They didn't live far from the mall. Maybe a 10-minute walk if they were going the same pace as he would. So, Brick turned off the TV, shouted a bye to their father, and locked the door, and climbed into his precious red 2019 Mercedes-Benz S-Class Cabriolet. This is the life, Brick mused as he drove down to the Townsville Mall. One of his songs were playing through the speakers, being connected to his playlist on his phone. It was the last couple of days of summer, and it truly felt like it wouldn't end. He was about to be a junior in high school, and he had already accomplished more than the average Joe in his 30s. Rick thought about his life and how it was amazing and perfect. But he didn't think about how it could possibly get better. But yet, it would, just in time.